We are back with another episode of the Bloomble Book Club, learning from Dr. Joe Dispenza, Chapter 3 of Becoming Supernatural. We're going to dive right into it on page 228. Let's get started.
Further, I want to back up just a bit to emphasize how important elevated emotions are for this equation to work. After all, when you decide to observe a future in the quantum field that you want to manifest, if you're doing it as a victim or as someone who's suffering or feeling limited or unhappy, your energy is not going to be consistent with your intended creation, and you won't be able to call that new future to yourself. That's the past. You may have a clear intention, and therefore your mind may be in the future because you can imagine what you want. But if you feel any of those familiar limited emotions, your body still believes it's in the same limited past experiences. As you learned in the previous chapter, emotion is energy in motion, and elevated emotions carry a higher frequency than survival emotions. So if you want to create change, you have to do it from a level of energy that's greater than guilt, greater than pain, greater than fear, greater than anger, greater than shame, and greater than unworthiness. In fact, any lower vibrational energy that you are feeling cannot carry the thought of your future dream. It will carry only a level of consciousness equal to those limited emotions. Therefore, if you're going to perform something that's unlimited, you'd better feel unlimited. If you want to create freedom, you better feel free. And if you want to truly heal yourself, you'd better raise your energy to wholeness. The more elevated the emotion you feel, the greater the energy you broadcast and the more influence you will have on the material world of matter.
Wow.
And the greater your energy, the shorter the amount of time it takes for your manifestation to appear in your life.
Wow.
In this process, you relax and allow a greater mind, the consciousness of the unified field, to organize an event that's right for you. You essentially get out of the way. When you are surprised by an unknown experience that seems like it came out of nowhere, that's because you created it in nowhere. Something appeared out of nothing because you created it in no thing. And it can happen in no time if you create it in the realm beyond linear time. That's the quantum field, where there is no time. A French researcher named René Piac, PhD, demonstrated the power of intention with newly hatched baby chicks. When chicks hatch, they usually imprint on their mother, bonding with her and following her around. But if the mother isn't there when the chicks imprint on the first moving object they encounter. For example, if a chick first sees a human, it will follow the human around in the same way. For his study, Piac built a special type of random event generator, a computerized robot that would turn randomly as it moved around an arena, going right 50% of the time and going left 50% of the time. As a control, he first recorded the robot's path in the arena with no chicks present. He found that over time, the robot covered most of the arena equally. Next, Piac exposed newly hatched chicks to the robot. As expected, they imprinted on the robot as if it were their mother and followed it all over the arena. After the chicks had imprinted on the robot, he removed them from the arena and then put them in a cage on one side where they could see the robot but not move toward it. What happened next was astonishing. The intention of the baby chicks to be near to what they believed to be their mother, in this case the robot, actually influenced the random movements of the robot. It no longer moved all over the arena, but instead remained in the half of the arena closest to the chicks. See figure 3.5. If the intentions of baby chicks can influence the movements of a computerized robot, just imagine what you can do in drawing your future to you. In this place of the unified field, you're actually becoming aware of what already exists, and you're bringing it to life with your attention and your intention. Here, you can be a genius. You can be abundant. You can be healthy. You can be wealthy. You can have a mystical experience. You can create a new job. You can resolve a problem in your life. Remember, all these possibilities exist as electromagnetic potentials in the quantum field. You cannot experience them with your senses because they don't yet exist in this space and time. They exist only as a frequency or energy carrying information that has to be tuned into and observed into this space and time. And in order for you to do this properly, you are going to have to connect to that information and energy with your energy and intention. Here's another way to look at it. If you're unified with the consciousness and the energy of every body, everyone, everything, every place, and every time within a vast unified field of potentials, then observing a potential in the quantum is just like becoming aware of your hand in the physical world. You're already connected to it. It already exists. Tuning into the energy of your future and intentionally observing that potential in the quantum then causes infinite fields of energy to collapse into particles called a quantum event, and that becomes an experience that can then manifest in your physical three-dimensional world.
Wow.
Then when you get up from your meditation, even though you're back in the three-dimensional world of matter, because you already experienced the elevated emotion you anticipated ahead of the experience, you have no choice but to get up feeling as if your intent has already manifested, or as if your prayer is already answered. You feel intimately connected to your new future, knowing it will show up in a way you can't predict, because if you can predict it, then it's a known. In effect, you get up as a new self, one who feels more like energy than matter. But you must remain aware, because the moment you forget and start stressing about when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen, you'll return back to your old self, trying to predict the future based on the past. And then you'll start feeling the same old familiar emotions with the same lower energy that influence your same old thoughts. And you've just made the choice to stay trapped in the known. We could say that you'll disconnect from the energy of your future the moment you feel the familiar energy of the emotions of your past. If you instead become successful at tuning into this potential you have chosen over and over again, and you get familiar with it, you will be able to tune in meditation, but also when you're in line at the bank. You'll be able to tune into it when you're sitting in traffic. You can do it when you're shaving, when you're cooking, and when you're taking a walk. You can do it over and over again with your eyes open, just as you do when your eyes are closed in meditation. Just remember, every time you tune into the energy of your future in the present moment, you are drawing your future to you. And if you do it often enough, and you do it correctly, you'll change your biology from a past-present reality to a future-present reality. That is, you will change your brain neurologically from being a record of the past to becoming a map to the future. At the same time as you teach your body emotionally what that future will feel like in the present moment, you'll recondition your body with this new elevated emotion. You'll be able to signal new genes in new ways, and you'll change your body to look like the future you chose with your clear intention has already happened. That means you begin to biologically wear your future. Jace goes quantum. When my oldest son, Jace, finished graduate school, he went to work for a large company in Santa Barbara that made sophisticated cameras for the military. When he completed his contract, he moved to San Diego to work with a startup. After a while, though, he became disillusioned with the management and decided to leave the company and travel. He's a big wave surfer, so he came up with an elaborate plan to go all over Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand for 7 months. He packed up his suitcase with the surfboards and off he went, and he had the time of his life. After 6 months, he called me from New Zealand and said, "Dad, listen, I have to start thinking about what I'm going to do when I get back to the real world. I want to create a new and better job than my previous ones, but I want to do it differently. I've learned a lot from taking time off." "Okay," I responded. "There must be a potential in the quantum field that you can tune into that's related to a new job for you. Take out a piece of paper and write the letter J on it, and draw 2 squiggly lines around it to represent the electromagnetic field. Hang on, because you're going to be doing something similar in the meditation at the end of this chapter." Once he'd done that, I said, "That J is a symbol that represents a possibility, your clear intention of the job you want. But now we have to get very clear on exactly what kind of job you want. So let's list what's important to you in this job. I want you to think about the conditions of what that letter J, or new job, means to you. Under that J, I want you to write the word intention and list the specifics of what you want in your new job. You can write down anything you want except when or how it's going to happen." "I want to be able to work from anywhere in the world," he told me, "and I want to make the same amount of money I was making at my old job, or more. I want to have independent contracts for 6 months to a year, and I have to love what I do." "Good. Anything else?" I asked. "Yeah, I want to be my own boss and lead my own team," he said. "Okay, now you have your clear intention," I told him. "Every time you think of this letter J, can you associate the letter with the meaning you just gave it? All of the specifics of what you want that you just listed." He said he could do that. Then I asked him to think about how he was going to feel when it happened. "Next to or below your sub-intentions that you listed to get clear on your new job," I told him, "I want you to write elevated elevated emotions, the energy of my future.
That's huge.
Now, let's list them one by one. What are they? Empowered, in love with life, free and grateful, he told me, identifying the elevated emotions he would use to bring this job to him. All that was left was just making everything line up. Take a look at figure 3.6 to see what Jace did. You have plenty of time on your hands right now. You're not doing much but surfing and relaxing on vacation, I told him. So it should be easy for you to create your future. Will you commit to doing what it takes to broadcast a new signature into the field every day? He agreed. Then I reviewed with him the concept of finding the present moment and getting centered and raising his energy so that his energy could carry his intention for his future. Just hold that symbol in your mind's eye while you radiate that energy into the space beyond your body and space, I instructed. Like tuning into a radio station and picking up a frequency that carries information. The longer your awareness lingers in this energy, or the longer you are conscious of the energy of your future, the more likely you will be to call the experience to you. So just tune in to the energy of your future every day. And remember, whatever you broadcast into the unified field is your experiment with destiny. When there is a vibrational match between your energy and the energy of this potential, it will find you. So Jace, can you stay there? Yeah, he replied. And then once you've been in that new state of being for some time, I want you to think about what you're going to do in your new job, I continued. What choices will you make? What things will you do? What experiences await you and how will they feel? I want you to live in that future reality in the present moment. Simply remember your future from that new state of being. Just as people tend to obsess about the worst thing that could happen to them in their lives every day, I was instead asking my son to obsess about some of the greatest things that could happen when his new job found him. Think about all the time you will have to surf, the traveling you can continue to do, the team of people you will work with, their strengths and the money you can save for a new house and a new car, I encouraged him. Have fun with those ideas each day. Just like the piano players and the muscle exercises that you read about in the last chapter, Jace was about to prime his brain and his body to look as if the future he wanted had already occurred. And since where you place your attention is where you place your energy, I continued, I want you to invest your attention and your energy into that new future. And just as your body follows your mind to the shower every morning, to a known, if you keep doing this process, your body is going to follow your mind to an unknown. Jace agreed to do the meditation every day. 1 month later, he returned, and the moment he landed in Los Angeles, he texted me and asked, "Hey, Dad, I'm in the US again. Can we talk?" Uh-oh, I thought, here we go. So I called him and asked how things were going. Great, Jace said, but I kind of ran out of money. I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, the father in me wanted to say, don't worry, son, I'll spot you some money until you get back on your feet. But the teacher in me prevailed and responded, that's so cool because now you're really going to have to create. Now you're in the unknown. Let me know how it goes. And I hung up. I could feel his discomfort, but I know my son and I knew he would get focused and do the work.
That's amazing.
Since he was really feeling the heat now, Jace had to seriously step up his game. He drove to Santa Barbara to see his college roommates, and a bunch of them went snowboarding for 4 days, just as they do together every year. When the 4-day weekend was over, he stopped back in Santa Barbara before coming home, and he happened to walk into a surf shop. All of a sudden, he saw the top surfboard fin designer in the world, who also just happened to be there. They started talking, and before long, the designer told Jace, I'm looking for an engineer to design surfboard fins. We're going to revolutionize the industry together. I need him for 6 months to a year, and he can run his own show, do whatever he wants. All I care about is ending up with a high-quality product. You know how the story ends. Jace got the job with a 1-year contract that he can renew at any time. He makes more money now than he did in his other job. He loves his new career because of his passion for surfing. Sometimes he texts me and he says, I can't believe they pay me to show up and do this. He's his own boss. He can work from wherever he wants to, and he gets to go surfing to try out all the fins. He's in love with life. He didn't have to send a resume. He didn't have to make a phone call or write an email. And he didn't have to go anywhere to interview or fill out an application. The experience found him. When we become no body, no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time, we are taking our attention off all the distractions in our outer world that keep us from being present with the unified field of intelligence that is within us and all around us. We are turning inward and being present with a consciousness that is always present with us. The moment we line up with that omnipresent consciousness, as if we were looking directly in a mirror, it looks back at us, and it can finally reflect what we show it that we want. The longer we linger in this place of nothing material and invest our attention and energy into it, the closer we move to the unified field. And when we are at the altar of infinite potentials, when we change our energy, we change our lives. As we move toward it and trust in the unknown, without returning our awareness to the material world of the senses and three-dimensional reality, we experience more oneness and wholeness within. That process begins to fulfill our lack, our separation, our duality, our disease, and our fractured personalities. Our biology becomes more whole as we become more whole. After all, when we are whole, there simply is no lack. Nothing can be missing. At that point, we are simply observing what already exists in the quantum field of all possibilities or potentials and bringing it to life with our attention and our energy. So now I have to ask you, what experience is out there in the quantum field waiting to find you?
Man, we can just stop there. We can just stop there. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about this, because this is yet again just another reference point on how we can be successful in our own lives. But let me stop sharing really quickly and let's go down the line. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you guys that are on this call. And hey, thank you guys for being on the phone call with me and focusing your energy, right? This is an investment. I wrote this down. Invest your time and attention and your energy into your future. And this was an investment into your future. So thank you for being a part of this. But I'd love to hear what you guys took away and what resonated with you guys the most, right? So we'll start with Josh Ruber.
So I was listening to a few things earlier today. You know, it's my Sunday, so during that I like to learn a lot too, self-improvement and all that too. And one of the things that really related with me was when you draw in your future energy in the present moment, you are drawing in your new future. And I actually really love that, because I heard the saying even from Jordan Belfort that when you're in character, you know, good things happen, obviously, because the character that you want to be is the person that wants to make everyone smile, you know, give everybody what they need, you know, everything like that. And you know, I always try to be in that character because it's the future me that wants to be him, you know. And therefore I always try to act it out, or even when I'm in tough situations, I'm like, oh, what would future me do, or what would this do? And I feel like we all have heroes in a way. And I know one of my heroes is Arrow from DC, you know. I used to always think about him. In tough situations, because that guy has a backstory like no other. I've never heard of anything like it. Like, I'll be honest with you, man. If I was put on that island like him, I would have died. I would have died. Right now, as the person I am right now, I probably would have died, you know. But that's not stopping me, because I know I'm going to be better, you know, next week or next month, or maybe I'll be able to handle it within a year. But you know what I mean? So I keep on going. But yeah, in tough situations like that, I just think of somebody who I know of, or I learned from, or watched, or whatever, who dealt with these kind of situations and freaking killed it, you know, and brought it up a level and everything. So it just goes back to me just trying to think of like, oh, what would future me do? What would this do? You know, try to make it right. Or even if I don't make it right, at least it'll still continue where I can come back to it and try again, you know. And I always think about that as well. So yeah, it just really blew that up in my mind for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not disappointing the future you. So important to understand where we are right now and really look at it for what it is. Everything that we do, every remnants, every second, every time that we dedicate our energy, it's an investment to show the future us that we know what's to come, right? And
Yep.
Everything is going to be resolved.
Exactly. And if anyone does have trouble, like, you know, tuning in, trying to look at themselves in the future and all that, like I said, find a hero. Find out somebody that is basically a role model to you, or someone that you want to be presented almost as, you know, and try to be like them. To ask yourself in your head, what would they do? I sure as hell bet they would do something. That's for sure.
Sheesh, bro. Sheesh. Absolutely. Totally agree, man. Totally agree. Thanks for sharing, man. Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Thanks for
Thank
being
you for
here.
having me.
Next we got Desha. Desha, what was your biggest takeaway? Or something that resonated with you, a couple things that resonated with you?
I actually had a couple things that resonated with. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we heard you
Okay,
before, but yeah, it's all good.
cool. Well, yeah, there was a couple things that resonated with me. Let me go to the screenshots here. So the main thing that resonated with me was he said when he was talking to his son, he told him something like, I want you to invest your attention and your energy into that new future. And just as your body follows your mind to the shower every morning to a known, specifically to a known, if you keep doing this process, your body is going to follow your mind to an unknown. So I mean, it just clicked to me, and I can elaborate it if no one really understands it when he said by like follow your mind to an unknown. That's pretty much talking the future. You know what I mean? And whatever you want in order to whatever you trying to do in order to succeed. That's what he's saying. Like if you and it has to do with change. I'm not gonna lie, it has to do with change. Investing your attention and your energy into that new future has to do with change. And a lot of people tend to invest, their time and energy into, other things, and they want to be somewhere in life. You know what I mean? They want to be doing these other things, and they want to drive $500,000 cars or $1 million cars and live in, $1 million homes, multiple $1 million homes and things like that. But they're not investing their attention on those things. Those things cost a lot of attention, let alone a lot of money, you know. So that right there just clicked with me for sure. Something that I feel myself that I need to work on for sure, investing my attention and my energy into my new future. You know what I mean? And it's better said than done for sure. Especially knowing you gotta carry day by day, especially in this world we live in, it's you know, kind of hard. But you gotta lead with faith. And I think that right there, investing your attention and your energy is the way for sure. Now another quote clicked with me as well. He said, when we become nobody, no one, nothing, nowhere, in no time, we are taking our attention off all distractions in our outer world that keeps us from being present with the unfilled field, with the unified field and intelligence that is within us and all around us. We are turning inward and being present with consciousness. So when he said, when we become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time, um, we are taking our attention off all the distractions in our outer world. That just resonated with the first quote that I brought up. He kind of elaborated on that some more. Just pretty much explaining how investing your attention and your energy to your new future um, has to do, like I said, with change. That change is gonna be becoming that nobody, that no one, that no thing. You know what I mean? And that, like I said, takes a lot out of a person to become a nobody, no one, no thing, for a sacrifice though. It's not even gonna be long term, because once you get to where you need to be in life, you're gonna be that everybody for somebody. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're gonna be that nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere and no time for forever. It's all a sacrifice. You know what I mean? So them things just clicked with me, and I'm gonna sit back and elaborate it on some more myself. But I just wanted to throw that in there. Those are the main things that I resonated with for sure.
Bro, I'm so happy that you said that. It puts a smile on my face, especially number one, because this is the importance of practicing that gratitude, bro. Dude, I'm the alarm clock, bro. That's my nickname. I'm just gonna keep on calling myself the alarm clock. I'm gonna be loud about it, bro. The gratitude list, bro. It is an investment of our attention and energy. It's an investment for our future. It's an investment for our future, guys. We have to find the time to create who we want to be. I know everything gets very, very, very busy. But in fact, a doctor prescribed something. A doctor prescribes something, bro. When we have the chicken pox and a doctor prescribes us a medication, because we don't want to be itchy anymore, right? We take the medication exactly how they prescribe it. When we have the flu or a sore throat, especially a bad sore throat, when we have a bad sore throat, we go to the doctor, right? They prescribe us some type of antibiotic. We take that antibiotic exactly how they prescribed it. You want to know why? Because we have a burning desire to get out of the feeling that we're currently in. Dude, we need to create a burning desire for our future. I want everybody to hear this because they said the quicker we can find naturalness in what it is we want out of life, the faster it is that we will attract it. The quicker that we create naturalness for what it is we want out of life, the faster it will be for us to attract it. I don't want that to go over anybody's heads. Dude, it is so important that we listen to what the doctor prescribed. He said 3 times a day, at least 5 to 15 minutes each time, practicing gratitude and crafting the person that you're going to be, the elevated emotions that you are going to feel, right? The reason why we're practicing gratitude is because it is one of the highest emotions you can feel when it comes to attracting the things that we want. When it comes to attracting the things that we want, there are 2 emotions that reign superior. It's love and gratitude. Love can be harder to actually accomplish, right? It can be harder to feel, but we all know what gratitude is, right? It's being very, very thankful. In fact, it's being so thankful because you already know that it's yours. Everything that you want out of life is already yours, but it costs your time. It costs your energy. It costs things out of you that, hey, listen, you might get distracted and forget about. And that's why we're not attracting it. That's why we don't have it, because we're not able to change our habits to create new for us in our lives. We're currently in the cycle of an old paradigm. At least now, I knew that thing was going to fall. At least now we know what is the, I don't even know what I was saying, bro. I just something just fell off the wall. My gosh, dude. But I knew that was gonna do that. I even told Kelly, I was like, dude, I have to move this. This thing's gonna fucking fall. She's like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. This shit just falls off the wall. Okay, it's whatever. Moving on. Kelly, what was it that you took away?
I think that Dr. Joe Dispenza, in this piece that we're listening to here, just reminded me how important it is to fine tune every piece of the puzzle. And so when we are feeling gratitude or we are imagining our future, is like painting the full picture. And it's a reminder to myself that during the moments that we do our gratitude lists is to not only think and like feel like the gratitude of that specific thing, but then also reflect on the finer details of what that actually means. So like whatever it may be, like I'm so happy and grateful that I have the freedom to visit my family once a week or once a month, whatever it could be. Like imagining the trips that we would go on, or imagining the laughter, the experience of those emotions that I would have with them. Or it could be, having a highly skilled team across every aspect of the business, and knowing that everyone is passionate and excited about what they're doing, and knowing, like, feeling that feeling of the mastermind within everybody else around us, and feeling those goals being executed on, and imagining what those goals are, not just like having a team of killers all over the United States or even internationally, but like, what are we actually accomplishing, getting into the finer details. And that's what's really going to help us draw in the future quicker, is, making sure that we're truly feeling every single piece of that puzzle, not just the statement itself.
Absolutely. And what I was going to say, I wrote down something from this morning's call. Intention. Intention means on purpose. Intention means by design. What design are we creating for the things that we want out of life? Are we creating the business plan that makes it happen, right? In order to raise money, you need a pitch deck, or you need a business plan, you need financials, you need a good understanding of a financial forecast for what that specific business can do. We need to look at the things that we want out of life the exact same way, creating a business plan, because at the end of the day, each and every one of us, we're the CEOs of our lives. We are the CEOs of our lives. So if we're looking to raise money, if we're looking to change something in our life, we have to actually plan for it. We have to create a specific design. We have to create a specific purpose. We have to be intentional about it. And so being intentional means you're actually investing your energy toward that, right? Kelly spoke about seeing her family, or our family, once a month or once a week. What is it like? Well, we're going on airplanes. And for me, that's an elevated emotion of high stress. So I'm going through that elevated emotion of high stress, going to the airport back and forth, right? It's the feeling of the love through the meals in which they're cooking, or we got a chef in that person's cooking, and it's the elevated emotion of being entirely stress-free, understanding the love that's in the room and really feeling that love. It could be a specific car, it could be a specific house, it could be a specific health condition, right? Maybe you want to heal yourself. You have to actually feel what it's like. So you have to remember a time in which you really felt happy, a time in which you really felt healthy, a time in which you really did all of the things that you're seeking. And then you replay that emotion over and over and over again. I have to tell you guys a story because I failed everybody, right? I'm supposed to be the example when it comes to what Dr. Joe Dispenza is teaching. And I have to tell you, it worked, but it worked in a very negative way the other day. I've been telling everybody on here, one of the main reasons why we started Bloomble was because I wanted to make anxiety and depression a choice, right? Because I suffer myself from very strong levels. Well, I have suffered in the past. Let's change up the paradigm, right? In the past, I have suffered from very severe anxiety. And so that anxiety causes me to go into some form of a panic attack. So I'm standing in a wedding, right? I wasn't even thinking about it. I was practicing peace until the time where it was go time, until the time where the wedding was starting, right? I started getting very, very elevated emotions of anxiety. So I was literally practicing peace. I walked all the way down the aisle. I got to sit by, or I got to stand along the side. Then the wedding started. The bride walked out. I felt such high elevated emotions of just crazy anxiety, bro. I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm about to do, but I feel like I'm about to throw up. I feel like I'm about to throw up. I feel like I'm about to throw up. So I see her walk down the aisle. And for me, I'm standing there right next to the man that's getting married, thinking, Zevin, you better not throw up on this stage while they're getting married. That would ruin their special day. Definitely don't do that. Don't do that, Zevin. So I recreated the way it was supposed to go. So I said, Zevin, if you can take these mints out of your pocket and only think about the taste of these mints, you can literally release, but it has to be after they've walked down the aisle and said I do. It has to be after they've walked down the aisle and said I do. So for the longest time, I was replaying, let me take out the mints in my pocket, let me taste those, and I'm just gonna focus on the taste. I'm just gonna focus on the taste. I'm just gonna focus on the taste. After the I do, they walk down the aisle. I walked the girl that I was in the wedding with to the end of the thing. I sprinted to the bathroom and got sick as shit. I'm telling you this story because it does in fact work, but it played a role in a negative way for me, right? Because I kept on thinking about the loop, and it became so natural. It became so natural that it had to come to pass. It had to come to pass. And I didn't have the mental capacity in order to change the entire narrative and say, Zevin, you're at peace. Zevin, you're at peace. Zevin, don't stress. Zevin, everything is okay. Zevin, you're in control. Zevin, stop thinking, stop overthinking, right? So I'm telling you this story because it can play a role negatively, and in fact, it does, or we can take control, right? And we can be the captains, and we can control the narrative. We can control what happens, but we have to focus that energy toward positive things, right? So I hope that story helped bring some clarity to the equation here. Thank you for sharing, Kelly. Tony.
Yeah, so for me, really, it was just I get super excited when we read this book. I bought the electronic version myself, just because like I feel like this book more than anything else I've ever read is a key to, like, a literal key to life, to getting what you want, to getting the fulfillment you want. But specifically, just when he was talking about meditation and I connected it with this morning where we were listening to, like you were talking about being intentional, and so something I've always tried to meditate, but I felt like I've never really had any progress, or I don't know, like, what am I supposed to feel after meditating to know that it's working? How am I going to know that this is working? And so I've had smaller successes when I focus my energy on things, but thinking about down the road, the larger things that I want, I'm like, how am I going to feel? How do I know when I have that feeling? And so tonight we just went over something, and it really connected for me. Just when he said, you'll feel intimately connected to your new future, knowing it will show up in a way that you can't predict. Because if you can predict it, then it's a known. And so in effect, you get up as a new self, one who feels more like energy than matter. And so, it sounds very broad, but it really connected a lot of dots for me there. So now I feel like I have something to look forward to, continuing to try to meditate, to be more intentional about what I'm focusing on while I'm meditating. It's huge for me. Now I'll know, okay, this is what I'm supposed to feel. This is what's going to help me move forward and help me really tune in to those things I want to seek that fulfillment.
Yep. And the easiest way that I've got intentional about the feeling is I really started to take a detailed look, like a really layered look at how I felt for specific things. So in the past, right, this obviously isn't happening anymore, but in the past, there were elevated emotions around paying specific bills, right? So I noticed, oh my God, I'm in the vibration of lack. I'm in the vibration of being unhealthy. I'm in the vibration of anxiety. And so it made me feel a specific way. So I wrote down that way. I wrote it down and said, this is what it makes me feel. And so these were all of the elevated emotions that I knew that I needed to ignore or totally delete, right? Distort and generalize, right? Like Jordan Belfort says, but I looked at it for what it was, and then I said, how can I change it? What is the opposite of anger? What is the opposite of depression? And so I started thinking about it that way, right? What are the things opposite of anger, right? It's happiness. What are the opposites of depression? Well, it's peace. It's feeling whole, right? It's feeling fulfilled. So I started to really think about the idea of feeling fulfilled, the idea of feeling happiness, the idea of feeling peace, the idea of feeling love. And so then I went in a very in-depth search for what is my body language like when I'm at peace? Whoa, what is my tonality like when I am happy? Right. And so then I just started to figure out and create new loops for happiness, for peace, for joy. Right. That's the easiest way that I could explain it. But thank you for sharing, Tony. I appreciate you. Caleb Drosh.
Yeah, man. So this actually goes a lot. I very much think this is the hold on. I very much think this is the sequel to the Placebo Effect by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And Tony, I definitely go read that one. That one really breaks down on meditation, how to do it, the effects you should be feeling, and it actually gives some more personal events and like experiences in that as well of how he does it. So this just gave me another reference point to that. Really what Day said about being no one, nobody, no thing, and nowhere, or at no time, that also came up in the Placebo Effect as well, actually. And in their meditation, they say you have to be in that state. And once you've reached that state, you get this almost sense of feeling. And actually, I actually got to experience the sense of feeling, and it was unlike any other joy or happiness you've ever seen. It almost felt like a feeling of fulfillment, like a feeling of content. It literally took over my whole entire body, and really it just breaks down even more of we can really create our own reality. You know, the more we keep doing it, the more we practice it. Just like anything, the more you practice it, the more it's going to come to fruition, the more it's going to build and just be stronger. So I really think if we just keep practicing meditation, if we really just keep going at it without thinking that there's going to be an outcome just to do it, because it's something that we've been put on this earth to do, it's something that we've learned that has helped millions of people. I think when you're doing it without an outcome in mind is really when you're nobody. You're not thinking of an outcome, you're not thinking of a thing that you're going to become. You're feeling a sense of contentment and fulfillment, and it's just amazing, man.
Love it, dude. Love it, man. Hey, you look like you're at peace right now, and I love it.
Man, I'm chilling.
You are in the vibration of peace, bro.
I'm chilling. I need one of these for meditation, bro. These are sick.
I love it, dude.
Chilling here, getting packed up and getting all my stuff cleaned. So I'm chilling on the hammock right now.
Love it. Hey, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
We'll go to my big brother. I don't know if any of you guys have met him, but you know how I'm mentoring some of you guys who are 18, 19 years old. Well, this is my mentor when I was your age, bro. Phil Wallace, bro. What did you think, man? Did this serve some value for you, brother?
Dude, awesome book. Great choice. I probably listened to it like 6 times. It's just so action-packed and different analogies, and so many things that just resonate with me. The one that I will say for this one was when he was talking about the use of really actually picturing what your new future is going to look like, because he said that it closes the gap on your future and your now, right? And so it kind of reminds me to stop just being so physically productive and start being spiritually disciplined, as far as making sure that I'm taking the time to meditate, to focus on my dream, to focus on, like you're saying, the details, everything, how I want to live, what I don't want to have anxiety from, what the type of peace that I want to have in my life and my day-to-day decisions. Like, go there mentally, like really, really take the time to do so, because you can just stay physically busy, but if you're not closing that gap on the future and now, what are you actually doing? What are you accomplishing? So that's just one thing that stood out to me.
Dude, I remember the day, it was like 3 or 4 years ago when we were talking about manifestation, and one of the methods that I used to use, buying sugar pills. And it leads me to more in-depth scientific studies of the sugar pills, right? The actual concepts behind placebos. And they run placebos still to this day when it comes to medications. And they found that placebos are just as strong as the actual medication itself. And it comes down to the person's belief that that product will work. It blows my mind, bro. It blows my mind. Like just thinking of all these things and having all these reference points and having all these doctors and these chemists, and they're telling us all of these things and all these statistics and data that back up the fact that we are in power, we are in control, and we can do whatever we want out of life and get whatever we want out of life when we know the secrets, right? When we understand the intention behind everything. But thank you for sharing, Phil Wallace, man. I appreciate having you here, and I'm excited to see you tomorrow. Will Cameron.
What's the word?
Man, you feeling whole, bro? You feeling healthy?
Man, of course.
Good, boy. Good. Love it. Tell us what you took away. Did this serve a value to you, brother?
Yeah, it always does, man. So I thought a super interesting part of the whole program tonight was where he talked about how even little baby chicks had an effect on a robot, because when chicks are born, when animals are born, they're imprinted on a parental figure of some sort, and so obviously for most of us that's going to be our parents, our guardians, et cetera, and he said that when they were imprinted on these robots, the habitual path of movement of the robot itself changed to cater to the side of the cages that the birds were in. And I thought that was literally sounded so ridiculous. The fact that little baby chicks have that same capacity to mentally rally up a machine to stay on one side because it imprinted on a machine. I don't know. I just that whole idea with me really struck me as interesting. And so it's just another reference point that even little baby chickadees have the ability to corral something in the physical from their mental.
Yeah, dude, so powerful. And honestly, I'm gonna be straight up, bro. I can't even conceptualize it. Like, I was trying to paint the picture in my head of what they were talking about with the baby chicks and the robot, and that shit didn't even come through to my conscious mind at all. I was listening to it, I was like, what are they even talking about? But now it makes sense. Now that you explained it and articulated it and elaborated on it, I greatly appreciate you, bro, for sharing that. And it makes me think of the concept behind the elephant, right? At the beginning of the elephant's age, when it's a baby, they tie it to a pole, and so it can't move. And they keep on doing that all the way up until it's this big ass fucking creature. But now they can tie the elephant to a chair and it still won't move because it believes that it can't.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind, bro. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But yeah, we have so many reference points now on how to actually accomplish like tangible things that we can do to accomplish the things that we want out of life. It's so powerful, bro. But thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I'm happy that you're feeling whole, bro. I don't even know what COVID-19 is, bro. Come on. Got you. Taylor Walker. Last but certainly not least, of course, Taylor Walker.
Yo, I'm sorry about that, man. What's good with y'all?
Man, abundant, blessed. I think I just hit $1 billion.
Abundant, blessed, you know. Yeah, I wanted to keep it kind of short and sweet, but you know, I just take away that, you know, you have everybody I feel like has that potential to be whoever they want to be in life. And it's up to you to be accountable to kind of become who you want to become in that state. You know, you can only hold yourself accountable for what you want. Nobody else knows what you want like you know what you want. So you got to hold yourself accountable on the goals that you set forth for yourself, and you have to actually put the action forth to do that work. It's probably off the book tangent, but you know, my favorite quote in the Bible is like, faith without works is dead. So you can have the faith, you can have the belief, you can have all of that going for yourself, but if you're not putting in the gritty work behind that, then it's going to be dead. It's going to be falter. It's not going to go the way you planned. So I say that to say this, you know, you gotta, you know, I know the metaphysics and, you know, the spiritual aspects of everything and the book aspects of everything, but without the physical grit going after what you want in life, then it's going to be all dead. And that's just kind of the topic that I wanted to this probably didn't have nothing to do with what the book was talking about, but that's kind of how, like, what I wanted to bring forth to the table tonight.
No, it absolutely did have things to do with what we just went over, because we spoke about investing your attention and your energy into your future, right? So it goes off of exactly what you were saying. Faith without the work is just it's dead, dude. Like, there's nothing that God can do to help you, because God's not going to invest into a bankrupt system. So if he's not seeing that we believe, if he's not seeing that we're willing to put in the work, he's not going to invest into Zephyr Clark LLC. He's really not. He's not going to invest into Phil Wallet Corporation Incorporated, right? It becomes very difficult. But yeah, absolutely. Everything that you said was great, and everything that everybody said was great. So I just want to let you guys know, dude, I'm so grateful to have each and every one of you guys here with me to go over these things and just learn and grow.